Welcome to 5-Minute Food Review. I'm your host Joe, and today we're not sampling any food. We're actually going to talk about the pros and cons of the recent food festivals we went to. The first one was the Knott's Berry Farm Taste of Boysenberry Festival, and the Universal Studios Taste of Universal. Now both events were very fun. We went there. We got there when they opened and stayed till almost closing time. Knott's on Fridays and Saturdays is from 12 to 9, and then the Sunday event is from 12 to 8. Now, Universal is from 12 to 7 no matter what day. Now, let's start with Knott's for the pros and cons. For Knott's, the price is very reasonable. I got a little cheat sheet, so excuse me if I tend to look down a little bit from time to time. For the most part, Knott's, to me, was very reasonable. You get 5 tastings for $45, no matter what day you go, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Now, kids are only $20 and they get 3 tastings, which is still not bad. If you think about the pricing of the food, which runs between $8 to $10 for most of those items that you would either buy or drink, can add up to more than what the price for the ticket is. One of the other benefits too for Knott's is that there is free parking. Their free parking is, if you've ever been to Knott's, it's in the marketplace parking area where normally you would pay by the hour to park. It's over there on the other side of the Ghost Rider that goes into the parking lot. If you've ever been, you can look on the Google map and you can see it. It's not that far of a walk from there to the front entrance as if they parked you across the street in the parking lot that they have for the amusement park itself. So that part, not too bad. Get free parking, $45 and 5 tastings. Now, for the food size, it is the normal size. If you've watched the video, I'll leave a link down below to the video or on the end credits here. Or maybe somewhere up here. I think I can leave a link up here somewhere. But either way, so you can go watch the video if you haven't seen it. It's normal size portions. So if you ordered a burger, you get a normal size burger that you would get at a theme park on a regular, any other time that you'd go. So the only thing one of the issues I had, one of the cons I had of the foods is that sometimes the food was kind of room temperature. It wasn't steaming hot. It was just warm, like if it was been sitting under a heat lamp for a little bit longer than it maybe should have. But for the most part, the food was delicious. There are some that we weren't too crazy about with the blend of the flavors. One of the things you got to remember is that for Knott's, it's a Boysenberry festival, so most of the food had a hint of flavor of boysenberry in it. Did I even sound right? It had a little bit of a taste of a boysenberry in it. There were some that we had, like the pastrami sandwich. It was our first sandwich of the day. It was on a pretzel bun, and it had a mustard boysenberry. I didn't taste boysenberry, but the sandwich was pretty good. It had some cold spots, but overall the food was delicious. Even the food that was bad, it was still not bad. It wasn't bad in the sense of the way it was made or put together. It wasn't like freezing cold or dried out. It just, some of the flavors didn't work for me. For drinks, now drinks is this is a plus compared to Universal. Drinks were available with your food tab, so any of the stands that they had and whatever drinks they had available, you can use the food tab on the variety of drinks. One of the other benefits of the tab is that if you like to taste some alcoholic beverages, you were able to use your food tab. So if they had a boysenberry cider, you can use the tab on that boysenberry cider. Or if they had a boysenberry beer, whatever cocktail that they may have, you was able to use one of your tabs. I like that. That was pretty nice. I don't think I did. I think on the previous food festivals I did. And So that's a bonus right there. That's a pro right there. Lines. Now there's no rides, and the only lines you're really going to face are lines to get your food. And for the most part, Knott's had a pretty good system set up to where the lines were, you never waited too long in line for your food. And I think one of the reasons why, because they made a lot of the food available throughout the park. So if there was an item you wanted to try, but you were on the other side of the park and didn't want to walk all the way over to Ghost Town and you were over in the boardwalk area, you didn't have to walk all the way over there. You can find it in the boardwalk, which was nice. That was excellent. I like that because Universal didn't do that. More on that in a minute. Tables were spread out fairly well in this to accommodate the social distancing and the cleanliness of the tables. Apparently they had like one person that had a section. This is what I saw. They had a section, and every time somebody got up from that table, that person was on it. He was on it like flies on. Well, you know what I mean. So they were constantly cleaning the tables. And the park was pretty clean. It's probably been the cleanest I've ever seen it for the 40 years I've been going. So Knott's, I give you thumbs up for the cleanliness of your park for these, not just that event, but for the other events that we went to. Went to the Merry one and the Halloween one they had. There is one thing, I don't know pros or cons, don't know how true this is, but there was a rumor that if you did not like the taste of the food, or you just didn't like the food that you were trying, you were able to take it back and exchange it for something else. I never heard if that rumor was true or not. As I was going to say, it's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. So don't take my word for it 100%. If you do go, check it out. Lost my train of thoughts. Let's go to the next page. Now, Knott's, still working on the Knott's, and I told you about the parking. The entrance and the checkout was pretty quick. There wasn't a full body pat down. They didn't get crazy with the wands and the metal detectors. They opened up your bag, you looked in it for a little bit, and they wanted you to go off to the side. They'd have you go off to the side, and they would scan you off to the side to allow people behind you to come in. So they did a pretty good job there. And then when you actually get to the turnstile to get into the park, they hand you that nice little lanyard that has the, which I liked, it had a list of all your food that you had to choose, that you were able to choose from, along with your drinks and where they were located. So a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, you were able to find same items in different locations. And you can always be able to find what you're looking for right there on that lanyard card. I liked it. It was very good. The music, they had background music. Sometimes in some areas, the music seemed to be a little louder than others in other locations. But for the most part, maybe it's just me getting old. Restrooms. I know you're thinking restrooms. What's the pros and cons of a restroom? Well, they keeping the restrooms clean. I mean, every time I needed to use a restroom, there was always somebody in there cleaning. That made me feel a little good that they're concerned about people's well-being. So they're keeping the restrooms very clean. Cleanliness, like I was saying about the park itself, the employees were friendly. They were always busy cleaning, sweeping. They were interacting with you all the time, because sometimes you walk by and there'd be a person up on one of the, over in Ghost Town, there'd be somebody up on one of the balconies, and they're waving to you. Hi, how you doing? They're talking to you and they're doing whatever. That was nice. I liked that. It was very entertaining. Food choices. I was saying before, there's many different types of food. I think God, what was there, 70, 80 different choices? There's just a huge amount of choices. From burgers, pastrami's, to some Asian fusion cuisines, typical American food, fried food. For the most part, your variety of drinks. If you do go, this event is around for Knott's. Knott's event sticks around till May 2nd. So you have plenty of time. There may be some tickets available. Hope there are. If there is, grab a ticket and go and have fun. Take the whole family and just have a really good afternoon. Get plenty to eat. For the most part, crowds, it never seemed to be so crowded that you might have felt overwhelmed or felt like you're being crammed in like a can of sardines or something. But there are some spots in Knott's that are not very wide, so sometimes people kind of bottleneck, and sometimes you might get a little too close than you'd want to. That's pretty good. Staff, like I said about the staff, they were very friendly, very helpful. Entertainment, I was saying that the cast members there, they're very interactive with you. They had live music. They have a big stage. Let's see, when you're leaving Ghost Town, you're going over to, I think they used to call it the Roaring Twenties area. I don't know what they call it now, and I just totally forgot what area they call it. But it's going over towards where the boardwalk is when you go to the left instead of the right. If you've been to Knott, you know what I'm talking about. One of the nice things they do have is for the kids. So the kids have a Easter egg hunt. They have these little QR readings on these eggs that you look for, and at the beginning you scan it, and it'll give you a clue to where you need to go to find that egg. You go to that egg, you scan that egg that's hanging on the wall, and then it'll give you your clue for your next location, and you just go around and find it. It's kind of fun. It was cute. It's really nice. Very family oriented, which was really nice, especially if you got little kids, which you've all seen Joey, so he's a bundle of energy. Cookie decoration. They have these boysenberry shaped cookies that you can decorate with your kids, or your kids can decorate them. You can save them, eat them for later, or just throw them in your bag or a stroller and take them home and do them at home. But it's a great way to take a break from all that walking around and eating and doing something with the kids. That's very fun. And that's pretty much almost all pros with the Knotts. And let me give you a little pricing on the Knotts. Now the Knotts, you get, like I was saying, 5 tastings for $45. Kids get the 3 tastings for $20. They do have some, and the kids are from ages 3 to 11. Knotts does have some packages that you can purchase on top of the one that you buy for the tastings, which is $45. They do have a t-shirt and pin combo, which you can add, which is $14.99. And if you don't want to drive home, or you live quite a bit of ways from this event, like say you live in Oxnard and you're just not looking to drive 2 hours back home, they do have hotel room rates as low as $65 to whatever price they go up to. And I'm hoping that their rooms are as clean as the park is, because that'd be great. I'd have to say Knott's, I'd give Knott's a 5 stars. I would give Knott's 5 stars for that food event. And for the food and the friendliness, for overall, just in general, it was really fun. We liked it. And Knott, I know they're going to be opening their park back up soon, hoping that event continues on, even if the park does open to partial capacity, full capacity, or ever how it is seen by the state of California. Now, Universal Studios. I hear Joey in the background laughing. For Universal Studios, the pros and cons of Universal Studios. Now, this is a little bit... Now, Universal Studios is a smaller park than Knott's, if you can believe it or not. Well, considering that Universal Studios only used their upper lot. This is Universal Studios Hollywood, just to be clear. That they have a lower lot, but they were not utilizing the lower lot. Everything was up on the upper lot. And this is where they have all their virtual reality rides, I guess they would be. The motion simulator rides, there we go. And their shows. And they have a lot of shops, and they've done a lot of decoration of this park from the last time I remembered. And it's been over 20 years since I've been in that park. It might have been even longer than that, because I don't remember the last time I was at Universal. So it is for the price range. Let me just start right off on the price range, because the price range on Universal, man, it's now Universal's admission is $44 on Thursday and Friday with tax. So that takes you to $48.18. For Sunday, it's $49 plus tax at $53.66. And Saturday is $54, $59.13 after tax. And that's for Saturday. So they have different pricing for different days. We went on Friday and it was $44. It was the $48. The event is not bad. It is better than I expected for a park being as small as it is, or at least the area that they were using. And for kids, it's 3 to 9, and it's $25 and then $27.38 after taxes, and that's for all dates. So it doesn't matter what date it is. Kids go in for that price and that price only. Let me tell you about the parking. Parking is free. You park in the structure over there by Universal Studios City Walk, and they do have a $10 parking fee for preferred parking. So I don't know where they park you for preferred parking. If you want, we went with the free parking. I just put it like that. Go with the free parking. Save yourself $10. Walk the distance. It's not that far. And plus, you get to walk through Universal Studios, and you might be like, "Ooh, look at that! And look at that! And ooh, let's stop there." And that's just going before you go into the park. And then when you leave and you're walking through there again, and then you get to see all the pretty lights. And yeah, you just walk through, and there you go. It's a nice walkthrough. But if you've been walking around that park all day, it can be tiring, even though it's a little park. But let's get on with the food. Because that's what you want to hear is the food. Now the food is just regular size portions, just like Knott's. So they both are really giving you your money's worth. You do get, just to let you know, you do get 5 items for your admission. So, and your kids get 3. So you get 3 tabs. And the only difference that I don't like at Universal is they give you this little card, and they use a hole puncher, which I didn't even know they still made. Didn't even know they still made those. But they use a hole puncher, and they punch out your number of how many you've had so far. So if you on your first one, they punch the number 1, and you have 4 left. The normal size portions, for the most part, food was good. It was good. Avoid using, for every food item, you have to use a tab. So if you wanted a bag of chips with your burger, or a side of fries with your burger, or hot dog, you have to use a second tab. So that means I punched a hole for my hamburger, now I got to punch a hole for the French fries. Knott's just like, here's your tab, this is what you get. Knott's didn't necessarily have sides for some of the items. Fries and fries at a theme park, there's nothing spectacular about them. They're not crazy, delicious. They're not like McDonald's. So avoid using tabs for side dishes. Just get the regular sized portions. You can purchase food if you run out of tabs. So you can keep buying food, but for the most part, most of the food runs about, for the regular portions like the burgers and the hot dogs, they're running about $8 to $10. So you do get your money's worth if you're buying the portions, if you're buying the regular size portions. For one of our first items we got was the fish and chips. Now I was expecting at least 2 fillets of fish. We got 1. Now it wasn't a huge piece, but it wasn't a miniature fish stick size either, and it was delicious. And they give you some fries with it. Of course, if you can call it fish and chips, there better be some fries or potato chips with it. And they're tater tots. Oh, I mean tater sauce. If you saw the video, you would get that joke. But anyways, the temperature of the food sometimes was a little cold. Not more room temperature, not cold like refrigeration cold or been sitting on the counter longer than it should. It tasted like heat lamp warm temperature, because that was one of the things. the lines for the food felt like I was waiting to get on a ride. Because you get on a ride, you got to wait sometimes up to an hour to ride a ride that's only going to last maybe a minute or two. But so you waited in line, 30 minutes up to an hour. I've heard some people are waiting longer. One of the other things too, and I think the reason why their lines were a little longer than Knott's, much longer than Knott's, is because all items were not available throughout the park or throughout certain locations. I mean, if I wanted a Krusty Burger, I had to go to the area, to the Simpsons Land area or the Springfield area of that part of the park to get the Krusty's Burger. So couldn't get it anywhere else. And that goes with some of the other locations too. And I think that's the reason why those lines were kind of long. Drinks, don't use a tab for the drinks. They didn't have any specialty drinks for what I saw per se. If that's the right way to use that word or that phrase. But either way, there is no. We didn't find any specialty drinks. I didn't see any. They do not allow you to use the tabs for alcoholic beverages. So any cocktails or any kind of other alcohol drinks that they have, you could not use a tab. You had to pay cash. As I say, in most part, the food is pretty good. The burger was good. The Sideshow Bob footlong was good. Some of the food that we got that might have been a little bit heat lamp warm was good. Food locations, certain foods, I was saying just a second ago that certain foods are only available at certain locations. Lines to check in the park was easy, pretty much like Knott's. You go through the check baggage area. Matter of fact, I like what they were doing at Universal. They just put your bag inside a X-ray scanner like at the airport. They just push it through the scanner and they can see what's in your bag. Good thing they didn't see some of those stuff in there. And don't joke. So once you're done there, then you go stand in line. And then once you get to the turnstile, they hand you a lanyard where you can get your ticket. And the ticket goes inside a little plastic sleeve that's connected to the lanyard. So that was that's the easy part of getting into the park. Tables were not bad. They did have a fairly decent amount of tables for the most part, and they seemed to keep them clean too, just much like Knott. So they were pretty much on the ball, making sure tables were being cleaned after somebody used them. Somebody go there, wipe it down, clean it up, move on to the next table that became available. The park was fairly clean for the most part. I never really saw any trash just floating around, considering it was a pretty cold day there at Universal. It really was at Universal. And it even rained on us for a little bit. But the sun came out, warmed up for a little bit, and then it got cold. Restrooms were very clean. They did a great job, much like Knott's did. Great job. Crowds, felt like there might have been less people there. I don't know. It's because the park itself is smaller, so they had smaller capacity to allow more people in. But I've never felt like I was really overly crowded. There was plenty of elbow room to do the chicken dance. But anyways, one of the nice things too, towards the end, we were waiting in line. By the time we were done eating, we were getting a little cold. And so, the wife gets cold real quick. And I got lucky and found a table that had a heat lamp. So they had some heat lamps throughout the park that you were able to sit under and stay a little bit warm if you happen to forget your jacket. They had plenty of shopping. I failed to say anything about Knott's and their shopping. They had all their shops open. For the most part, every shop I can remember was open, and they had their crafts tables all set up with people who were selling their craft items. Now, that was at Knott's. All the craft stuff was at Knott's. For Universal, they had all their shops open. You can walk in and walk throughout their stores and check them out. And I already told you about the prices, but overall, both events were very fun. some tend to do a little better than the others, and I think the reason why Knott seems to knock it out of the park a little bit better is because they've been doing this a lot longer, at least 3 to 4 events during this pandemic event that we've been having. Masks are required to wear at these events, and it looks like we're going to be wearing masks for quite a while longer. How much longer, don't know. Let's just work hard and work as a team and continue to wear our masks when we're in and around public areas like that. Universal, I think, is new to that food festival game, and I know right now Disney is doing their Touch a Disney. I think I got that all mixed up. But we tried to get tickets for that one, and it sold out real quick. Watching some of the other vloggers, look like they're having a great time. You guys have fun. Wish I was there to enjoy some of that festivities. Disney does a great job with food festivals. If you ever been to their Food and Wine, those are always a blast. But you know what? That's it. I hope you enjoyed what you... hope I was able to fill in some information. If not, just leave a comment down below. Ask me a question. If I'm able to answer it, I'll let you know. Other than that, hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to 5 Minute Food Review, please do so. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe. Oh, I just said subscribe. Share with your friends, and leave a comment. And and hit the bell for updates. I'm messing this all up at the end. My tongue's getting all tied up, just talking so much, jabber-jawing. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next 5 Minute Food Review. Bye.